All right, Mike, I want you to take me back into time. I want to go to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and describe what it was like growing up as Micah Parsons.
You know, in Harrisburg, I wouldn't say it's too bad. Like, I never like to talk down like where I come from. It just makes it hard, you know, through the environments you in. But luckily, I just had a great support system with my coaches, my mom, my dad, and they just always just kept me so active. And I would say that growing up, there was like so many sports I was in. There was the Harrisburg Cub Academy, the Harrisburg Packers, which I grew up in, and you know, kind of started my sports journey for me.
There's a story about when you're about 4 years old and you say, I want to change to my lifestyle. I want to go to the NFL. I want to be the one who changes things for my family. Why was that? What do you think 4-year-old Micah was thinking?
I just hated the trenches. I just hated where I was at. And, you know, I said that so much growing up, like even to my uncles and aunts, I was like, man, I hate living like this, bro. I hate constantly dealing with this. So I just made the mental decision. I was like, man, what can I do to do that? And sports just always just came natural to me.
Mm-hmm. What does living like this mean?
Just like constantly living in chaos. Like now, like when I'm in chaos, it's like nothing to me. Like it's just like, what's the solution? Not like thinking about the problem, because I lived in problems. Like I stayed in problems. So I just lived in chaos. And you know, I'm a little bit more peaceful now, but it's still chaotic. But I just said, just like when you just live in chaos so much and there's always something around you, something happening to you, something happening to a family friend, someone dying, someone overdosing, someone's going to jail. It's just like, bro, like, can, you know, something stay normal for once? Can I live a normal life? So, you know, when I started playing AAU basketball, traveling wrestling, and, you know, there was these families that took me into Thompsons and Knives and helped me get to these places because, you know, my family couldn't take me. And I just felt like they was living in peace. And I was like, man, like, you know, this is what it's like on the other side of the end. And I was like, man, this is what I want. I want a family. Like, I want to, you know, build something for me and my family.
So as someone who was living in chaos and with all the problems that you saw, what role did sports play in your life through that time?
Yeah, sports was like my peace. Like, you know, you got your friends who's kind of like roaming the streets and they're not doing nothing. And like, man, I'll catch you later. I'm going to practice. Like, sports was like my way of like getting away from this. Like, and you know, my old head's like, man, stay what you doing, keep going with that. Like, this ain't, we always going to be here, you know? And, you know, it's true to this day. You know, my old head said, if you look at the corner and you see where they at, what they doing, they'll be at the same place when you get back, or they might be in jail. And that's still true to this day. So, you know, sports was kind of just like my way of just like expressing my emotions, my feelings. Like, I kind of just let go, like, and, you know, I was telling someone today, I was like, bro, you know, I would say I've been pretty successful, but every week I fight for my life. Like, I fight, like, I don't want to go back to where I came from. I don't want to deal with them problems. Like, it just means more to me, I feel like.
There were so many people that obviously took the wrong path. What do you think made you take the right path or stay on the right path? This has to be difficult in that situation.
I wouldn't say I wasn't always on the right path. Like, I made so many mistakes, but I learned from them. I didn't make the same mistakes twice. Like, I didn't want to relive or rehash some mistakes, and I just translated that to sports. And, you know, I would say Coach Franklin played a big part in that. And, you know, my mom, man, there were so many times I wanted to quit, and she's like, no, you're not quitting. Like, I didn't raise no quitter. I didn't quit on you, so you don't quit on me now. And, you know, I'm telling you, man, like, I don't think people realize how hard we make it on ourselves when we just don't be accountable or responsible and do what we're supposed to do. We just kind of try to play outside the lines when you can just ride the straight line. And once I realized that, my life been pretty easy from there.
What did you get that accountability is the way to go?
You know, Coach Franklin was just so structured, and he was just like, man, you need to be 10 minutes early. You need to do this. You need to do that. And there was times where I was like, man, I could walk in 5 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, and he count that as late. I'm like, man, how am I late? And I'm getting punishment runs. Like, you know, I'm not, you know, I might show up to class late and things like that because I'm like, man, it's just class. Like, who cares? Like, but, you know, you realize that as a parent and as a man that everything matters. It shouldn't matter about what environment you're in. Like, greatness and, you know, excellence and all that is a habit. Like, you got to practice habits in everything you do. Like, it shouldn't, like, break down. And once you realize consistency is the key in all your habits, it'll make a huge difference in your life.
When did you realize that football, I don't know if it was the love for you or it was the key to the future, like what did it become that became your sole focus?
I would say in high school, I was wrestling. I was really good at wrestling, but I got tired of cutting weight. I was like, man, this cutting weight thing's not for me. I was a freshman. I was 220 pounds. Like you can't make this up. And I was like, man, I ain't wrestling no 220-pound players. Like, and the next weight was like 195. So I was like, man, I think I'm gonna just go ahead and just focus on football. And like I didn't even really know how football like worked. Like I had college teams, but I didn't know how to like do the NCAA clearinghouse. I didn't know how to go to school. I was saying I was going straight to the league like since a kid. And then, you know, sophomore, junior year hit me, I'm getting offers and like, man, you gotta do this, this, this. I was like, oh man, like this how I go. But that's what I'm saying, like a lot of places, no one teaches you these things. And you know, so I think so many people get hit on the side because like there's not enough emphasis on teaching kids how to make it to the next level. You know, you just kind of find out on the wing. And, you know, I feel like that saved me because I had my parents on it. You know, I feel like a lot of people don't have that.
And I know that your mom has kind of played a big role. You've mentioned her a couple times here. Just describe what that role has been as football Micah shows up every single Sunday, the person that we see when you're on the field.
Yeah, you know, I feel like she just molded so many like great things into me, and she just threw like, you know, you need to be this type of person, like you need to focus on these type of things, you know, and she's just so loving. So like I feel like my loving side I get from her, because like no matter what storm or season I'm in, like she's always like, look, just turn to God, like, and my faith and everything I believe in is because of her. Like even why I'm here today is because God, like. You know, we have a crazy story together on why she decided to keep me. She was a young mom and stuff like that. So, you know, everything, my faith, what I believe in, just my mindset all really come from her.
Well, since you brought up the crazy story now, I want to hear it.
So, you know, my mom, she had 2 kids and she was a young mom already. She was about to be 24 with 3 kids and, you know, she really couldn't afford it and she was just really having this hard time knowing what to do. And my mother, the pastor's wife, called my mom like late night one night. She was like, you know, what's wrong with you? She's like, nothing. And my mom finally broke down and told her, and she was like, no, you need to keep that baby. Like, you need to, like, I know it's gonna be hard, but you know, you got people around you that's gonna help you. And you know, eventually she decided to keep me. And you know, she eventually woke up with the name me Micah. And you know, so I just feel like I'm meant to be here. And, you know, I'm just trying, you know, every day I just try to figure out my purpose and my passion.
Well, it seems like we've continuously seen that since you've entered into the league. I mean, every year is a little bit better. Let's go back to rookie season and just, what would you label that version of Micah? Like, who was that, who we saw your first year in the league?
Man, I would say that was like fresh out of COVID Micah. Like, I had a year off, so I was literally trying to get back into my groove. And I was really just trying to get better. Like, I was getting my butt whipped a little bit. Like, and, you know, I think people take, you know, their losses and their mistakes and say, man, I don't know if I should be here, but I always feel like I should be here. So, like, I was like, man, how can I get better? Like, where can I get better? And that's always kind of, like, even been my mindset. Like, I never stopped, like, me not being where I am now stopped me from where I'm going to be later. So, I always just kept going my rookie year. And then eventually it, like, clicked for me, like, it was like 3 TFLs, 2 sacks, you know, and I just like, now I'm getting it, like now I'm starting to get a little bit more comfortable. And, you know, it really turned out to me winning Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. Were you unsure at first?
I wouldn't say I was never unsure, because my faith, I knew what I had in me. And like, you know, Dan believed in me, George believed in me. It's like, man, I know what you can do. It's just about, can you do it and how you do it? Like, are you going to continuously get better? Are you going to get comfortable? So I never really had a doubt in my mind. It was just like when I was going to do it.
Okay, year 2, Micah. Describe that version of you for me.
Yeah, year 2 was like a little bit more comfortable. It was like, you know, I know what I can do now. It's just like, how can I do it consistently? What leaps and bounds can I do? And I felt like in the beginning, like I was good. Like I was like, man, this is what I knew it was going to be. This is the year I knew I was going to have. And then it was like, bang, injury. It was like, you know, all these things, challenges that like I never really went through, that was kind of like holding me back, that I was kind of pushing through. I was like, man, you know, me at 70, 80% is gonna be better than, you know, a lot of people's 100. So I was like, man, I'm gonna just push it through. And I really wanted to win so bad. And so there was like so many like knickknacks I was dealing with. Yeah. But I was like, man, like I wouldn't say I was like truly at my best, like my best self for real.
What did you learn about yourself, though, going
I
through it?
learned that I could be resilient, learning that, like, there's a difference between injured and hurt. And, there was a lot of times where I was hurting, but, like, I found a way. And, like, you can always find a way if you want to. I don't believe that you can't do anything. Like, you can do it if you really want it.
Okay, now you get to make the headline for you going into this season. What would it be, since we haven't seen you on the field yet?
Yeah, if I would say going to this year, I think this is about to be my best year that I ever put together. And within my 3 years, I think this is going to be a year that a lot of people talk about. And a lot of people, some are going to be surprised and some might not. They're going to say, I knew he was capable of that. And there's going to be some that's going to be like, it's whatever.
Mm-hmm. I love that you don't shy away from setting a high expectation, but vocalizing it. Some people would be like, yeah, I'm writing down my goals, but I'm not gonna talk about them with you. What makes you so capable of, like, sharing it? Like, you want people to know that this is what I expect of myself this year.
Yeah, because I'm a visualizer. I'm visualized. My words have so much power. And writing down is cool if you want to remember it, but I feel like I'm telling God, I'm telling myself, like, every day, like, I'm finna be the best player in the world. Like, I'm going to be number one. And you shouldn't shy from that, because at the same time, your work equals your confidence. So if you're not confident in your work and what you're doing, then of course you want to write it down. You're like, man, if this happens to me, this is good. I knew this was going to happen if it happens, but I know the work that I put in, and you watch a lot of Kobe's like, man, I know this ball's going in because I worked at it. Like, I did this. Like, I did this before. And, so that's why I'm not really shy from it. And, I feel like it just makes me believe in myself. It makes my peers believe in me a little bit more. And you can't shy from the moment if that's who you're meant to be.
You bring up Kobe a lot, but I'm curious, like, who are the role models that have allowed you to kind of build this confidence, the expectation, some of the things you say? Like, I hear Mamba mentality when you're saying it.
Yeah, I look at so many different people. Like, I listen to a lot of audio. Like, I love Inky. I love Denzel. Like, Denzel's like my idol. Like, I love Kobe. I just love people who bring a why to the game more than just the game. Like they talk about, it's never about the game of football. It's never about, me being better than Jalen Ramsey or TJ Watt or anybody like that. It's about me being better than myself. And I'm competing with myself. Like, I'm not even competing with them guys. Like, my standard's so high. I don't even know what their standard is, but my standard's just so high that, like, I'm competing against me.
Hope everyone's at home taking notes, because I need to get some Denzel audio now.
Yeah.
I need to go back and listen to him and see what he says. So what does that look like? What does your off season look like so that you can prepare to be the best version of yourself?
Yeah, and I tell you the gym for real. Like, I don't want to shy because I want everyone to be great. But I literally do the complete opposite of what people would expect, like, a player to do. I don't do a lot of football. Like, I might do football maybe once or twice a week because I'm already in football. Like, everyone knows that I'm a good football player. And, like, it's not hard for me to do a couple drills to translate to the game and stuff like that. But it's like, how can I learn how to train uncomfortably? Like, how can I, like, activate skills that, you may not think you need? Like, I do a lot of trench warfare. So a lot of trench warfare is I do a lot of wrestling. Like, I want to get comfortable learning leverage, learning, balancing and, stability into my hands, my hand wars and stuff like that. And, like, close, can I swing you by? I'll get comfortable boxing. How can I react to someone throwing hands at me? Like, all the little things that, like, man, this may not be, I want to, like, anybody can go to a D-line guru and learn how to run a hoop. But, like, that's not going to, like, you don't need to continuously do that, So I'm learning how to, like, train and go again, like, learn how to go minute straight, then take 10 seconds off and go again, like, that quick refrain of, like, keeping your oxygen and breathing right, So I do all those little things to, like, make sure I'm at the top of my game.
Mm-hmm. It's a diversified training,
is
what it sounds like.
Yeah, you should never just be a football player.
Mm-hmm. What would you say was something that you learned the most from, like something that you might have added this year that you're like, I'm so thankful that I did that going into the season?
Yeah, mine would definitely be boxing. Like, I saw Amari Cooper doing it, and I look at Amari Cooper like a big brother, even though he's not here with us no more. The things he just talk about and he reads, like, I even started reading because of Amari Cooper, like, and I saw him, I was like, man, why do you do that? He's like, man, it's tough, like, you should come, like, it'll really make you better. And, man, I'm like night and day from when I first started, like night and day. Like, I'm gonna be training like boxing for like the next 8 years, and then I'm gonna get me a celebrity boxing match.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.